Hello, I'm Jeffrey, and I'm here to talk about how software development approach will affect project outcomes. I wanted to start off by talking about software development methodologies being used in today's time and how they differ from one another. Here we can see that there are two types of SDMs that we are going to be looking at. On the right hand side, I created a table representing the difference in characteristics between both agile methodology and traditional methodology. As we can see, organizational structure in an agile methodology is iterative. An example of this is Scrum, and traditional methodology is linear. An example of this would be waterfall method. The scales of projects are small and done in small increments in the agile methodology, while a larger scale is presented when using traditional methodology. Customer involvement is high in agile methodology to create the best outcome of projects. This is done through customer feedback, which is important when going about this method. Customer involvement is low in traditional methodology since finished products are already made beforehand. The only time customers get involved is during the early times of a project. For escalation management in agile methodology, when problems occur, usually the entire team works together to resolve whatever issues at hand. While in traditional methodology, when problems occur, they usually escalate to managers directly. For model preferences, Agile tends to favor a more adaptation type of model, and for traditional, it favors an anticipation type of model when doing a project. These are just some of the characteristics and differences between both methodologies. In research by Ivar et al. 2007 called Organizational Culture and Deployment of System Development Methodologies, they talk about an organization culture. An organization culture can be constructed to cover everything in an organization. Examples of this are basic assumptions and beliefs, models of behavior, practices, technology, etc. They use a competing value model, which gives a visual representation of an organizational culture. And then in the figure shown below, we can see that there are four distinct types of cultures that are group, developmental, hierarchical, and rational. These cultures are made by four different forces, and that will be internal focus, external focus, change, and stability. Hierarchical culture will be the focus for this research because it is the only type of culture that supports software development methodologies compared to the other cultures. As we can see in Figure 1, hierarchical culture lies between internal focus and stability. Stability meaning focusing on control, continuity, and order, and internal focus underlines the integration and maintenance of a socio-technical system. The hierarchical culture is oriented towards security, order, and routinization, and it emphasizes control, stability, and efficiency through the following regulations. The results in this research paper are summarized in Table 5 seen above, and this result was done using the regression analysis. And through this regression analysis, they were able to demonstrate a positive relationship between the hierarchical cultural orientation and SDM deployment in the case of the IS developers. Meaning that the more hierarchical a culture is perceived to be, the more support SDMs are perceived to provide, and more they are to be used. In conclusion, the hierarchical culture is the most benign environment for SDM deployment, whereas the opposing culture of that will be the rational culture, which tends to be a more hostile side. For the developmental and group cultures, those are seen to be neutral and disregarded. Not only does a SDM deployment lead to a hierarchical culture, but tends to prefer a strong one because if the culture is weak, many challenges will be introduced when implementing this deployment. Another research paper called Fit of Development Methodologies in Software Projects, they analyzed the 163 software developmental projects using PLS-SEM. The results showed that a traditional methodology strongly counters the negative effect of a requirement volatility on project outcome compared to agile methodologies, as well as finding that a hybrid methodology can show a strong positive effect in areas like project complexity when trying to achieve their goals. Using the contingency theory, they propose to empirically analyze the contingency of software project outcomes on three important project environmental factors. This includes requirements volatility, project complexity, project criticality, while also being influenced by developmental methodology as a project factor. Project outcomes through contingency theory. Because of frequent change in requirements and change in priorities, there is often a deviation from original scope and exceedingly high variability between original plan goals and goals achieved. Meaning if there's no stability or predictability, a software development methodology will have a tough time bringing about remarkable results. Through this research model, they found that while using agile, when requirement volatility is exceedingly high, there is a possibility of resource wastage, thereby costs could escalate due to continual rework, meaning that change and unpredictability does not suit well in bringing about great project outcomes when using SDMs. Another result shows that the effect of choosing a methodology in the relationship between the project complexity and the goal achievement was not found to be significant for both agile and traditional methodologies, but it was incredibly significant for hybrid methodologies. Results show positive moderating effects of agile methodologies on the relationship with project criticality and goal achievement, and this is due to stakeholders being highly involved in set projects, influencing them to achieve their goal. I hope all of this information was very informative for you, and thank you for watching.